All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Rock and Roll Geezer Show. As you can see, we got the Aurora Borealis in my background there. It happened to show up for a night or two last week in the upper Illinois area. So, hey, there you go with the Aurora. But nonetheless, welcome back to another edition of Rock and Roll Geezers. I'm your host, Murph, and uh, pretty cool show this week. Got the Wolfie in the news, Wolfgang Van Halen and Roger Waters. Oh boy, Ronnie Radke. Big in the news as far as I'm concerned. We got some Bruce Dickinson, some foreigner news, and some this and that, some Aerosmith and all this stuff. But can't do without my co-host, and that would be Doc Vox. So what's shaking there, Doc Rooney?
Yeah. Doing all right this week. Ready to
Yeah,
dive into some stories here. Nothing super big and heavy, but a few things to keep everybody up to date on. So thank you everybody so much for dropping in and checking us out. We so very much greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe. We do this pretty much every week, so give you the news. So please support us any way you can. Greatly appreciate it. And Wolfgang made some comments about we talked a little bit about the Sammy Hagar tour coming up this summer.
sure.
Yeah, where he's going to focus on the Van Halen stuff.
Yeah, I got to do a deep dive on a lot of the Van Halen stuff, which it ought to be great. And shame, and I saw an article about somebody asked Sammy, will Alex show up? And I think we all pretty much know the answer to that at this point. Alex, I think he's done. I think he's
He's like a
retired.
hermit. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's like in a recluse, man. It's like nobody's hears anything from him, man.
he's pretty much retired. So and that's basically what Eddie said. I'm sure he'd be welcome with open arms on the tour, but I just I don't think he wants to play with anybody else but his brother. And his
Yeah,
brother's gone, so that's it. I mean, there was that connection that once it's gone, it's gone. So
yeah, yeah.
and he obviously had that connection very deeply. So I can't blame him if we don't see him. But it'd be cool if Wolfie ain't touring. It'd be sort of cool if Wolfie would pop in on one or two of the dates.
Yeah, so I was thinking if they could, I don't know if he is out on the road, if they cross paths or almost cross paths enough to pop over and join him on stage. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So, but Wolfie says, yeah, he's pretty stoked about it, man. He's glad because we've talked about it, and oh gosh, we talked about it a lot. Maybe about a year or so when we first started the show, maybe a year and a half ago. And always talk about these tribute things to Eddie, and everybody's kind of him and hawing about it, and nothing's really getting done. And Wolfie said that the Van Halen camp's just way too dysfunctional for anything like that to get put together.
Exactly.
So Sammy's put it upon himself to, this is going to be his version of it. And if you don't know, he's got it's going to be his buddy Michael Anthony that's been with him for some time now, be on bass, and then you got Joe Satriani is picking up the axe, man. So,
Yes.
and then of course Jason Bonham that's also been with him for a while is going to be the drums. So unless Alex decides to pop in, but for now, yeah, Jason Bonham, and yeah, that should be helpful. And now, the invitation went out to Alex and David Lee Roth. Dave says he's in. I don't
Yeah.
know if anything official has been, contracts have been signed or anything along those lines, but he says he's in.
I just hope he can, keep his shit together, because he's so freaking out there. And, guys like Sammy, and then at this age, you just, you don't want the drama, you want the execution, you want the performance, but you don't want all that freaking drama that obviously Davey Lee brought through his whole life. But
Yeah.
just, boy, this is the biggie. This is very exciting. I'm glad that we're going to be able to see him there at Tinley. It's very, yeah, I'm really really
Yeah.
pumped
Yeah.
about
Looking
that.
forward to that
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
and we've saw Sammy a couple of times, so he likes Tinley. So wow, I couldn't be more stoked. But Wolfie's pumped up, and
Well, you
like I
remember
said,
a few years ago they did the Sam and Dave tour. The two of them toured together, and that kind of fell apart. They butted heads constantly, and you almost kind of want to get a pool together to see how long this would last. But I think just in reverence for Eddie, I think they would be able to keep it together
yeah,
enough to pull it out. So
I would hope so. What a legacy of
yeah,
music, Jiminy Creepers. Just and I did see, I read an article with Satriani, and yeah, uh, trying to get the tone is like impossible because Eddie was a constant tinkerer with his tones and his
right,
amps and his pickups and his guitars. constantly tinkering with him. So, and wow, and his tone changed through the years as he tinkered. But Satriani says, man, it's a real challenge, to get that. But
Well,
if
I
anybody
don't know if you
can,
saw it. I think they may have made the announcement on Howard Stern or one of the early announcements about this, and they perform on there. It's the four of them, and Satriani, man, he's got it. No, dude, he's got it so down, man, so down. And Sammy just kept reiterating, "That's without rehearsal. That's without rehearsal."
yeah, exactly. And so just
Yeah,
imagine when he
yeah,
starts really practicing on all these
yeah,
riffs and stuff.
yeah.
I mean, a guy of
Catch,
that level.
yeah,
Ooh,
catch them mid tour, man. Yeah, those guys will be
oh,
smoking, man.
oh
So
boy, it's going to be great. So I do hope they have some special guests. That would be just great. So more power to him. Way to go, Wolfie. I'm glad he put his nod of approval. Why not? This is really going to be a celebration, and I'm glad they're going
yeah,
heavy,
yeah.
heavy, heavy into the Van Halen. I'm sure he'll do a little bit of Montrose, a little bit of his solo
Yeah, I
stuff.
don't think he
Not
can do a
much
show
though,
without doing Can't Drive 55. You have to pull
right?
that
And
one
rock
out.
candy and shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
So
nonetheless, going to be heavy on Van Halen. Very excited about that. Uh, here's an odd little thing I saw on the page Society of Rock. We always love getting on the Roger Waters. There he is with this lovely son, handsome guy. Beard leans a little trimming, although I shouldn't really talk, but nonetheless,
Harry is the last name. Harry Waters. That's
Harry. Well, he is truly Harry. I'll give him that. But
uh,
what's on the top of his head? It's like it's not a man bun; it's a man loaf. A man loaf. But it's the headline: Roger Waters' son joins a Pink Floyd tribute group after being fired from Roger Waters' touring band. And apparently, what do you? It talks how he was fired a while ago after 14 years of playing with the old man. But geez, I hope he's not like his old man. Geez. I imagine that'd be horrible. They going at each other the whole gig, yeah, you Nazi son, bitch. Go to hell, Dad. You freaking commie. Just go at each other. But yeah, he did an interview and he talked about departing his dad's touring band. He played keyboard with the groups for 14 years. So good for him, good keyboards. Yeah, that's something to be able to play some Floyd stuff on the keyboards. And so, after the 2016 tour, Dad said, hey, take a hike. I want to go in a different direction, that type of thing. And
and it kind of the take I got from it was just kind of treated him like a contract, player. It was like a number of the guys when he went on tour, he didn't take the exact same band out from that he's had. I think he kept two guys, and the rest he just didn't contact again. Just didn't re up their contract, I guess. And Harry was one of them, man. He just kind of like, okay, we're gonna go in a different direction, and just kind of the way it was so, I don't know, corporate, I guess.
He in an interview with Rolling Stone, Harry shared his feelings about the unexpected career change, expressing the hurt he felt after being fired from his father's touring band. He remarked, I was fired. It was pretty miserable. I think he just wanted a change of blood, something new, something fresh. I'm not sure of his exact reasonings, but everyone except two people got fired. But the other guys that got the sack weren't his son. So it was doubly hurtful on me. But do you think Dad gave a shit? He didn't. Get out of here, you sod. Go away. God, even my son, you don't look like me and you got red hair. You're probably our neighbor when we lived over there on Scottsboro Boulevard. But I shouldn't say that up. But really, what a jerk off dad. I don't know. Well, that's Roger
he's
Waters,
not known as Mr. Sensitivity. I mean, one thing they'll bring up Roger Waters, and we've talked about him in the past with this whole kind of supposed anti-Semitic kind of comments and whatever. And Harry commented to that. He defended his dad on that one. That a lot of stuff that they're bringing up is stuff he's had on stage for 40 years, and we talked about that too. But yeah, you haven't heard any comments from Roger do with what's going on over there now. I haven't. I'm sure he doesn't really want to. I haven't heard anything anyway. I'm sure I would think he wouldn't want to touch that. With
I would hope he's pretty much tired of all this
given his
crap,
background. Yeah.
Really, after and he's been doing this for a long, long time. So at some point, you just got to say, I'm tired. Maybe I should just play. But yeah, and apparently, after he got off of Rogers' touring band, Harry continued his musical journey by playing Floyd material with Les Claypool's Fearless Flying Frog Brigade. So there you go. He's playing with Les Claypool. There's a
Oh, there
nut
you
job
go.
right
Oh
there.
yeah,
Wow.
he's out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, the band he's in is a Brit Floyd is the name of the tribute band he's in now. So,
oh, how cool. So hey, safe journeys, son of Roger Waters, Harry Waters. Get a haircut. Get that
and
man loaf.
they got that on their posters. That's on their promotion. Roger Waters' son. They promote that heavily. They do.
Yeah, well,
He's
I don't
Brit
know
Floyd
though.
with Roger
Is that a
Waters'
plus or
son.
a minus? Oh, I wonder if he's an anti-Semite like his old man.
Yeah,
Hey,
right.
let's reel and go. Let's go. Let's get together let's get on our GS scooters with our haircut Nate, and we'll roll on down there.
Yeah, it might not
Wow.
be the plus that it once was. Yeah,
That was an
times,
obscure Who reference there. An obscure Who reference there, boy. Oh man. So Roger Waters and his son, they're doing what they can. Here's one of our favorite weird guys. Look at this picture here. Oh,
Oh,
Ronnie
there you go.
Radke. Ronnie Radke. This cat, we've talked about him a lot. He's done some really screwy shit
Yeah,
in the recent. But boy, he and he's the vocalist, of course, of Falling in Reverse, and he said a lot of crazy crap. But boy, he's starting to make some sense all of a sudden here. Wow. Falling in Reverse vocalist Ronnie Radke calls out the venue after merch fees amid debate on fair earnings for artists. Radke says he halted the merch sales inside the venue after they demanded 25% of the gross sales. So good for him. Not well, good for him, but at the same time, how much money did they lose by having to stand up for principle? And then he continues on. You want me to read? I can read a statement here.
Yeah.
He was at a place in Minnesota called the Armory.
Right.
He said the Nutcracker was an amazing show with Daltrey. I'll do it again next year if they want. Amazing radio station, and I'm glad for the support. They're talking about the 93X radio up there. Last night, I refused to sell Falling in Reverse merch in the venue we were playing in because Armory, Minnesota demanded I pay 25% of gross sales to them. So I told Armory, Minnesota to go F themselves and just didn't sell merch because it didn't sit right with me to have to upcharge the fans $100 a hoodie because the greedy venue thinks 25% of gross merch sales from a band is okay. For your information, these venues take a merch cut these venues taking a merch cut is criminal. There is no reason or excuse for venues to take a band merch percentage. They do it because we let them get away with it. And then let me see. He goes on. It's literally stealing. There's not a single reason these venues have that makes this okay. So to anyone out there ever wondering why merch is so expensive, it's because these venues are stealing from the artists. Last night, I told Armory men to go F themselves on stage. And if any of you bands play this venue, I'd advise you do the same. The only way this bullshit is going to change is if we as bands all stand together and F their bottom line. Streaming takes our money. The venues take our money. The artists get destroyed and disrespected by these greedy Fs. So one more time, F Armory Man in Minnesota. But thank you to the fans, the huge show, and the radio station. And I'm sorry we couldn't sell our merch. What a point he makes there.
You get that right.
The bands are out really the expenses that the bands have just to get there if they're on a small tour like that. Let's face it, that's not a huge tour. I'm sure that it's not a Taylor Swift tour. It's these smaller tours, they're struggling to make ends meet. For instance, we talked about how Disturbed, we saw them this summer. Their tour make what, 17 million.
Right.
Taylor Swift, gross. Her tour make $1 billion gross.
Right.
17 million, $1 billion. And smaller tours like this, they probably don't even make, they don't make anywhere near 17 million. or
No, no.
anything. And then here we go. They got to roll into these smaller places, and the and the club's gonna say, no, no. If you're gonna sell merch, you're gonna give us 25%. We're gonna give you this space for your table, but you're getting no. I just find that so rotten. I'll tell you what, clubs. Maybe you should give the bands that maybe a cut of your food and drinks. How about that of your sales? You jerks. This really rubs me wrong, and I think the best thing to do is to just from this point on, bands need to put it in their contract that you get none of the merch sales, and if they don't agree, well, then we'll find a place in
Well,
your
that's the
town that
double-edged
will.
sword, though. It's kind of well, that's it. A lot of times that's might be the only place in town in some of these smaller markets. There are that size of a venue, and we talked about this guy going back, and it
Yeah.
started out. A lot of these venues they supplied an employee that worked the merch table, and they would take a cut. And then it got to places were charging it whether they provided that employee or not, and then it just grew from there. And now they're asking 25%, 25%
Of the
cut
gross,
of the gross,
not
just
even the
so.
net.
And then just like Racky said, that gets passed on. They're not eating that, so now you're talking $100 for a hoodie. That's where you start seeing these
And then the
$50
fans start
t-shirts.
complaining,
Yep,
but the fans
yep,
don't
or not
realize that.
buying it at all.
Yeah, yeah. What a mess. Yeah.
To
So,
me, I mean, yeah, it's nice to go, to a show and I used to do it. I don't do it so much anymore. I freaking go broke with all the shows we go to, but just buy one online. I guess just go through the band's website online and get it. I don't know, maybe that's the answer, but
yeah.
you like to go to and have a souvenir of the evening and maybe even wear it home and
Well, boy, I don't know. Set up a table or a little tent outside the venue, off the venue ground,
right.
where people are
Yeah, but
walking by.
I'm sure
There
there's
probably
markets where that's
rules
not legal.
against that.
Probably, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure, yeah.
jeez,
So
man. So,
you know,
but the band, they need to just put it in their contracts at this point or something. That's just unreasonable. That really is. So yeah, we're gonna 25% of gross, not even net. That's the
right,
gross. So that
right.
really, if they're doing proper bookkeeping, that's a hit.
For
If they're
nothing.
if
For
everything's under
nothing.
the table, yeah, then whatever. But yeah, if you're trying to do things right, at 25% of gross, you have no option but to hike your prices on your merch. So the jerk offs.
And
We'll
there's
see what happens.
25%, dude. 25%. That's
Wow.
that's criminal.
Yeah,
The
these
ten
poor
percent,
bands.
I don't know. Maybe you can, kind of live with the 25% for nothing for providing a table. Which you've been to these clubs. I mean, most of them they just kind of just shove it in the corner somewhere. It's not even like
Yeah, right.
a nice,
Not a big
yeah, yeah,
spectacular
yeah,
presentation or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And then, the club owner goes home every night and no big whoop. But these
Just
bands,
raking
really,
it in, yeah.
these bands, they got to be back on the road, probably in a little van or a little bus or something. Yeah, you're going to take their money on their journey,
Yep.
you
And we
jerk.
just talked about how now they're getting squeezed even more by Spotify. Now they have to reach a certain threshold of streams before they even start getting their
Just
fraction of a
the
penny
big
for every stream.
corporations just
Oh my
squeezing
God.
and
How
squeezing.
every from every direction, man.
Man, oh man, oh man.
It's like
So,
I feel
boy,
so
hang in
bad
there.
for these
You know,
bands trying to make it, but
this will be a story we'll definitely have keen interest in following for
yeah,
support
support your
because
smaller bands, people.
yeah, get
Support
out there
them.
to smaller clubs and like Brower House or whatever. Brower House, yeah, they had a merch. Who did we see there? Who was there? Who was
We
she?
saw the Dead Boys was the
What?
headliner, but the other bands like the Briefs and Susie Moon
Susie
and
Moon, yeah, she had a
yeah,
table there. I wonder if
yeah,
they probably charged her. Susie Moon, leave our Susie Moon alone,
yeah.
jerks. Doggone it. Okay, moving on. Hey there, Bruce Dickinson in the news, in the rock news lately. And it's funny that the article I had to start out with Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Dickinson explains why there is a lack of new rock and metal bands who are able to ascend to the arena level status. And that is actually a good point when you think about it. We've always talked about, there's, not a whole bunch. All our heroes are dying by the wayside. We'll talk about
Yep.
that a little later. But the new up and comers that will fill stadiums and headline festivals. Because pretty soon we're not going to have Iron Maiden, Guns N' Roses,
That's right.
ACDC, all the
Right.
usuals.
Yep.
So
Yep.
and anymore, Bruce Dickinson, he talked to a touring guy down in South America, and he basically said that they're not there's not a minor league anymore really. The minor league, they're just staying minor league. They're not pushing to ascend these bands up to the next level, and I can see it. I've been complaining how, aside from Ghosts and a few others that are I've been making some noise. Really, where are the super
Well, there's a
headliners?
lot of reasons for that. I think. I mean, well, one, music just so segmented now is you don't have that crossover appeal like where bands can get in new fans or whatever. And then sometimes it's just just being around for a long time and building that fan base too. And maybe some of these bands will eventually get there, but yeah, they're not there quite yet. And
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. But well, we'll see. Because our heroes are another 5 years. Our heroes are going to be all retired or dead
yeah,
at
yeah. I
this
say
point.
5 to 7 years, man. It's gonna be
Yeah, it's
yeah,
over. It's like the World War II generation bugging out. Our music generation is gonna be going by the
yeah,
wayside. So and
yeah.
speaking of Bruce Dickinson, he was talking about the Power Trip Festival and bitching about the crowd at the Power Trip Festival, being that there was a whole bunch of rich people in the front who just wanted to record on their phones, and the people who really wanted to be there were in the back. But isn't that how it always is? You know,
Yeah, seemingly anymore. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, I,
well, in an interview, they were talking about all this stuff, and he was talking about Power Trip. He said he's British, right? Yeah, he's British.
oh yeah,
Power Trip was a slightly strange experience for us, and we did a good show. And actually, at Power Trip, we did a maiden show. We didn't do the because it's Power Trip, we have to suddenly do greatest hits. No, we did the maiden show with all the stuff that we're doing on the Somewhere Back in Time tour, Death of the Celts, everything else like that. And it was a little bit strange because people had been standing out in the heat all day. There was no support band, completely cold, go on stage. Well, cold as in no warm up, but no, I think we sounded pretty good. But it was an unusual situation, he continued. I think what was a little bit strange for us was that the people who should be down the front of the stage because the tickets for the festival were so expensive, they were at the back. And the people who were in the front were just like rich people that wanted to film everybody on their phone. But the kids who, wanted to play to where, but the kids who you wanted to play to were at the back. And that sucks, Annie. Actually, it wasn't our festival, it wasn't our organization. We're going into America next year and we're doing our own tour. And the people who are down in front are going to be the people who deserve to be down in front. They're going to be the real fans, which is going to be great. I wonder if he's going to pull a Billy Joel. I wonder
you
if
know
he's going to
what?
pull a Billy Joel.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing. But yeah, a couple thoughts on that. One, well, before I get into the meat of it, it's pretty ballsy move because a lot of bands when they play festivals, they do play a different set. They play that greatest hits kind of set
Right.
because it's not an
The
Iron
full
Maiden
show.
crowd.
It's
It's
not
not
their
a
full show,
well, it's
too.
not a full
So
show, but you're not like when they're headlining, the fans are there to see. They're Iron Maiden fans. At this, they're like, yeah, we're going to Power Trip, and whoever's there is there, kind of thing.
you got to
And
play the best hits
yeah, yeah,
because you
and
were
it's the
trying to
greatest hits
grab
because
onto them new fans,
well, that's all
basically.
that they know and can relate to, and that kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
to play their full show, that's pretty cool. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's so right. I mean, what do you expect when what was a ticket for down the pit like $3,000? Who do you think's gonna be down there? The kid that's your typical Iron Maiden fan. No, he's not gonna be down there. It's gonna be all these corporate people that I went to
Yeah,
Power Trip. So
yeah, yeah, making tons of money and whatnot, and
So when he says, it'll be different when we do our show, well, it kind of depends on your
well, I
ticket
hope he
prices
does
too,
a Billy
Bruce.
Joel.
Or you do the Billy Joel, yeah.
What we're talking about, folks, is Billy Joel at each concert. He holds back the whole front row of tickets
At
to
least
himself, at
maybe
least
first couple rows,
the
yeah.
first couple of rows, and then at some point he'll have roadies go up to the very back of the audience, to the very top of the last seats, and he'll start handing out front row tickets to all the people way in the back. Because those
Yep.
those people way in the back, they're way in the back, but they're happy to be there. So those are the real fans. So them and suddenly they're going to be up front. It's going to be insane. It's going to be
They're
an
going to be
insane.
out of their minds happy
Yeah.
just to get that upgrade. So yeah, they're going to put out and they're going to be enthusiastic for you.
So
Springsteen does
yeah,
that too. I don't think he
yeah.
does it to the degree Billy Joel does, where it's like that. But yeah, there's a video out. Springsteen and I were fans giving their little stories. Springsteen and a couple fans tell those stories where that exactly happened to them. So
I remember
yeah,
back in the day, Steve Dahl, the local Chicago DJ legend, talked about when he was front row at a Springsteen concert and he wasn't into it enough, and Springsteen kicked his ass out.
get
he's
that fat
he's
fuck out
told
of
that
here.
a couple of times. Yeah, get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
I
Get somebody
vaguely
in there who
remember him
wants
saying
to
something
rock.
like that. Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, so Iron Maiden will be coming back to the United States and Canada with the Future Past tour next year. So yeah, they'll be on tour. Well, we'll get. Let me see. Where are we here?
They always draw. They're one of those bands. They probably sell more concert tickets than albums. They're
Yeah.
one of
Oh
those
yeah.
kind of bands.
I saw them with on Ozfest before Sharon pulled the plug, so to speak. And
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
yeah. She pulled that. Not after we saw him, but it was a good show, man. It was very cool. But good for Bruce Dickinson. Here we go. Okay, timeout. Let me get them up here. Where are they? These jerks.
Yeah.
There
Oh,
they are.
God.
Foreigner. We've had enough of these clowns. We've they've been to Tinley Park the last 2 years, and this year what was the name of their done tour?
It was called the Farewell Tour. I mean,
Farewell.
the Farewell Tour.
Farewell meaning we're out of here. We've had enough. We're nothing more than a cover band now, and we're ashamed of ourselves. And it's about time we go home and sulk in our basements and just take note of how shameful it was.
Flog ourselves in shame.
But
you know what? Too before we go too much on it, we talk about this quite a bit. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but they keep throwing that horse up on the table, man. They really do. They really do, man.
Yeah, oh boy. Well, and the thing is, he's coming back to Tinley Park, so their farewell tour, which wasn't farewell, has turned into what, an eras or what tour now this year?
Well, first of all, they're doing a Vegas residency, actually a couple of them, but there's two legs of a Vegas, whatever. And then now they got this tour. They're going out with Styx. I thought Styx was headlining and they were the openers. It could possibly be a co-headlining situation, but nonetheless, it's called the Renegades and Jukebox Heroes Tour. Okay, so now the reason we're bringing this up, the front man and current lead singer Kelly Hansen has come out with the statement that it was always meant to be a two-legged tour. Then Bullshit. Why was that called the Farewell Tour? And this is called the Jukebox Hero Tour.
Renegade and Jukebox Heroes. Yeah.
And you're not headlining. That was a headline tour you went out on. And now you're not headlining, but this is part of your farewell tour. No, he's so full of shit. There's no way we're going to this show, dude. No way.
No. I would not even. I'd rather go to the boy band, whatever the hell is going to be there. Jeez. And Kelly, I've been saying constantly in every interview, on stage during the show, at the meet and greets, everywhere I can, that this has always been a 2-year farewell because we couldn't get everything everywhere in 1 year. As explained, I've been saying it all over the place. Listen, of course I can't exactly repeat everything every day, everywhere, all the time. But I've been saying it constantly. So if someone has not looked more than 1 inch in front of their face, then I can't help them. What a jerk off.
I'm hating this guy more and more by the second, man. Yes.
Throw fruit at you now? Jerk. Gosh. Well, thanks.
Then why isn't okay? So this is the second leg. Then why isn't this Farewell Tour 2 or second or something? Just Farewell Tour or whatever. Part 2, whatever, something like that. No, you're on the Renegades and Jukebox Hero Tour with Styx. And John Waite's with him, by the way, open him up. But
okay, John Waite. Yeah, which I would love to see. Holy schmokums, but no, I will not. Sorry. So if
No.
someone has not looked more than 1 inch of blah, 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 I've been saying,
Yeah.
so it's always been the plan to do this 23 and 24. The days of
Bullshit.
touring 9 months a year after was over, and that is over. And I'm sure there are going to be certain appearances or shows or something maybe along the way after that. No, just go away. No more shows, no more appearances. Go
Oh
join
my
I don't know,
God.
go find another cover band to
There's
join.
so much wrong with this. They're a cover band. They're full of shit. Nobody wants them. What? Oh my God. Oh my God.
Swear, man. Jeez, how dare he? How dare he? But yeah, they're coming back, and that's one we will not see. So far, we only got, I think, two, right? And we got Creed
Yeah,
and
Sammy and
Sammy.
Creed. That's about it. Yeah.
Boy, yeah, yeah. Nothing else is really shaking the rafters yet. But
It's early. It's
although
early.
I noticed this week, jeez, here we go. They're back again. The Journey and Def Leppard
Oh yeah. Yeah.
constant tour ad infinitum or whatever infinitum. They're never gonna stop. So yeah, they're back on tour now. They're gonna be out with the Steve Miller and Cheap Trick and somebody else. I can't remember who, but good riddance. And they're gonna be at
Yeah,
Wrigley Field,
they're doing the big
the
stadium thing.
worst place for a concert, worst place for a baseball game, quite honestly, with the parking. Yeah, people don't know Wrigley Field. Trust me, it's a bummer in the north side of Chicago because
Yeah,
there's
it's a
just,
beautiful place, once you get in there. But yeah, getting in there is a
oh gosh,
bit of a yeah.
it's hellacious. But yeah, they got that tour going on, and there's just that. Jeez, no thanks. The same old stuff. They're probably getting in because, like you said, 5 to 7 years, those probably all those bands will be done.
Yeah.
So they're just getting it in while they can,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even any creepers. So anyway, moving on. Here we go. Look at this. Dream On. Aerosmith's Dream On surpasses 1 billion streams on that cheap freaking platform, Spotify. I mean, they probably made what, $9.87
$12
on
and 17 cents. Yeah.
Good job, Aerosmith. Yeah. Legendary rockers have joined Spotify's Billion Club. The Billion Club is a playlist first launched in 2020, which includes all the songs on Spotify that have surpassed 1 billion streams. And after the achievement, Spotify, they gift the artists the Billion Club plaque. Oh, how nice of them. Plaque probably costs what, $250? They buy them by the bulk and it costs them nothing. Geez. And then they join other artists, including Metallica, Nothing Else Matters. Ooh, Eye of the Tiger, Dancing Queen, Papa Roach's Last Resort, and Whitney Houston's I Want to Dance with Somebody. There's got to be more than that.
No, there's almost 500.
Okay,
Yeah,
500 so far. So we can't go through that, but wow, 500. So, I'm not surprised. It's been around forever, but there's like a whole bunch of Aerosmith songs that should have been played 1 billion times, as far as I'm concerned. All that early drug fueled stuff, up to like Pump. When after that they just sort of went nuts. I don't know. So what do you think about that, man?
Yeah, I think this is their first one to hit that billion mark. So yeah, it's their to me it's their kind of their signature song. I mean, of all the many that they've had, I mean, this is kind of their big one. And just people may not know, Steven Tyler wrote this when he was like 17, 18 years old. It was still Aerosmith was still 4 or 5 years out at that point. There wasn't even a thought of an Aerosmith, and Steven Tyler wrote
it
that
on a Steinway piano.
Yeah, they got
in the living room, baby, of a lodge. Wow.
They released it. They released it when the debut came out in '73, and it didn't do a whole lot. It went to number 59, and then they re-released it in '76, and that's kind of when it really hit and went to number 6. So it always strikes me as odd when that happens, especially in that close of a time frame. Why did a couple years later was a much bigger hit, or I don't know. It's kind of an odd phenomenon. I don't know why that happens. You rarely hear ones being re-released, but it seems like when they do, for whatever reason, maybe they find a way to market it. They want. I don't know. Back in the '70s, though, was a different time. Who knows?
We lived with the best music, though. Jeez.
Oh, really?
Especially the first couple of the first probably 5 Aerosmith albums, but that really early stuff was just great raw rock and roll, just really just fantastic. Well worth a re-listen if anybody out there is. You can always just pull up your phone, pull up YouTube, pull up Aerosmith album, full album, hit it and boom, you can listen to it. Man, it's just that's a good thing about YouTube. Basically, at this point, everything's on YouTube. If you want to listen to a full album, the full album will be on YouTube. You can just run it, Bluetooth it through your car stereo.
Yeah,
And
I know. I still prefer the old school stuff as you see behind me,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. But when you're in your car, it's sort of hard, Although back in the day, I think Elvis Presley had one of them cars that had the built-in that record player that would play singles.
I know there's a picture where you see Muhammad Ali has one.
Did he?
Yeah. I've seen that picture.
Yeah, it would play a
once in
four.
a
I think it was a 45, or it might have been a full album. I thought it was maybe just a 45, but yeah, that had to be crazy. Don't hit the bumps.
Yeah, no
'Cause,
doubt.
oh man, oh man. But yeah, so I'm interested to see what more the concert season filling up. Right now it's pretty slim, they've had a few here and there, and nothing really I want to see at this point except for the two we've talked about. So we'll see what happens, man. Boy, it's been a weird year. It was a weird year at Tinley Park, and I think they're going to pay the price. I think, a lot of people aren't like us. I'm not getting the season pass at this point. I'm not going to pay an extra 15, $20 for each concert to get a seat. Have to wait in a line to get that seat. So, the last couple of years were interesting. We saw 27 shows. So, yeah, we'll see what they do to us this year. But so far, yeah. Oh, boy. Nonetheless.
Well, too, it kind of leaves us open if something pops up at a different venue. We're not, married to this
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Well, we've got the great theater up in St. Charles, the Arcada. They bring in a lot of the classic B teamers, your Warrants and that kind of greatest stuff,
Yeah.
So we gotta get some front row balcony on them, man. So yeah, and it's gonna be another warm week. So, with Christmas just 2 weeks off, we're still in pretty good weather shape here. It's gonna be an El Nino year. I've been keeping an eye on the weather because I'm an old fart. It's gonna be an El Nino year, so it should be a good one for us, and I hope it's a good one for you folks. So party on, and we'll see you next Monday again with another show. So why don't you take us home there, Doc?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for checking in, and please hit that subscribe button. Smash that button, as the kids say. It would, it means so much to us. So, yeah, we do this each and every week when we feel like it. No, pretty much each and every week. We've had a couple of weeks off. I know
we needed it, man.
We're only human, things
sure.
have to be taken care of. So yeah, but we will be here next Monday. You can bet your bottom dollars. They used to say back in the old days.
Yeah.
And till then, you guys have a great rock and roll filled week. See you then.